Hey guys, just finished a draft, so I figured didn't really have any option, had to join another draft. And I think that this is a really interesting pack. I think that there's a lot of different ways to go, and I don't know the best one. So there's Fiery Conclusion, which is kind of an awesome card. You can just kill creatures with it, sacrifice creatures. You get start of a green black or red black sacrifice deck. I really like Blood Curse Knight. I think this card's great. If you can get any reasonable enchantments like Suppression Bonds, then it's awesome. But it is white-black, so it's hard to justify picking that first. Rock Maulers is a great card. Somberwald Alpha is kind of where I'm leaning right now, just because it's one color. It's going to be good in whatever deck you play it in, and it's really powerful. So I think it's really between Fiery Conclusion and Somberwald Alpha, but I'm going to lean towards the Somberwald Alpha for now. There's some other reasonable cards here that somebody could consider, but I don't know about first picking. So yeah, between these cards is like Blood Curse Knight, Fiery Conclusion, Somberwald Alpha, any of the uncommons, and then if somebody picked Rock Maulers, I wouldn't be too surprised. But I'm going to take the Somberwald Alpha and see how that goes for me. Fiery Conclusion might just be better though. Alright, so pack 2. Oops, sorry about that. I totally just spoiled the last draft if you didn't watch it. Anyway, Somberwald Alpha, number 2. These cards are great. Having 2 of them, they stack. They definitely stack. So making this guy, making 2 of these is a lot better than just having 1 of them. I like Might of the Masses a lot in this format. I like cheap pump spells. Irosis Champion is really good in the red-white deck. Not a really exciting pack otherwise. There's some playables, but I'd much rather take a Somberwald Alpha than anything else. And here we have Caustic Caterpillar, so that's clearly going to be the pick. I am joking, that card is really bad. But as for good cards in this pack, I like Deadbridge Shaman and I like Sigiled Starfish. I think Amperin Tactician is pretty good too. I'm leaning towards Eva's Force Mage. I don't mind the card, and it is green, and I really don't know where I want to go at all from here. Deadbridge Shaman might just be a better option because it's of a higher power level, and same with Starfish, higher power level kind of thing. But I think I'd rather just stay in green for now and then branch out later. Okay, well, I figured out what color I want to be. Because Fiery Impulse, like, I have a hard time believing that this shouldn't have been the first pick of this pack, considering that there are still 2 uncommons left. But it made it all the way over to me, and I still haven't chosen a second color. It's not like I'm passing much else in any other colors. There's like a Coalblade, a Majoring Bully. Nothing. There's just nothing. Fiery Impulse is a great card. I think it's one of the best commons, if not the best common. Alright, some decent options here. I think Blessed Spirits is actually a great card. I think Orchard Spirit's fine. I think it's a good card. It's a 3-mana 2/2 evasive creature. I like Pricklebore. I think I'm going to take the Rock Maulers here. It's really good and works extremely well with all of my first picks so far. Somberwald Alpha, pretty obviously you want your Trampler to get bigger, so he's almost unchump blockable, and that guy is already really bad to let go through, and Somberwald Alphas just make it harder to block. Eva's Force Mage, of course, makes it harder to block. First time, get those 2 counters in, even if they were going to set up a double block. Pricklebore I do really like, and I think it's a great aggressive creature, but I like Rock Maulers a little bit better, and it could be that red isn't open, just one card doesn't necessarily mean that it is. I'm leaning towards Foundry of the Councils here. I love this card. Maybe I think it's better than it is. I kind of like Firefiend Elemental. I think that it's good in aggressive decks like this that want to be playing pump spells, but I already have 2 4-drops, and I don't really want to be playing that many 4-drop 3/2s, especially if I'm on the defensive in a game. Titanic Growth is also a consideration. Hopefully I'll be able to pick up a couple of pump spells. Active Treason I like in some decks, and I think it's really one of the best cards in some decks, but in others I think it's really bad. But it looks like I'll be getting a lot of playables. My colors seem to be pretty open, so I'd rather take the land than a spell because it'll replace a card that wouldn't make my deck, whereas or basically it's replacing a basic land, so I just get to play another spell in my deck, essentially. So another Fire Fiend Elemental, but again, I was saying I'm pretty happy to pick up some pump spells, so Might of the Masses it is. Alright, I mean, I guess the 4-mana 3/2s are going to come. I think this card's pretty good, so it going this late is sort of a signal that white's open, but I think it's more of a signal that white's pretty deep, so the fact that there's a white card here isn't that surprising. I don't love Enthralling Victor if I don't have a lot of sacrifice outlets, but I don't dislike it, so take it here, see if it makes the cut in the end. Eva's Force Mage, happy to play a couple of those. I think Read the Bones is a good card left. Somebody might be collecting all the Fairy Miscreants today, so that'll be good for them. Take Aerial Volley for the sideboard. None of those other cards are really exciting. I think it's better than Smash to Smithereens is for the sideboard, even though there are definitely a couple of reasonable artifact creatures in this set. There's just not too, I mean, other than like Sword of the Animist, and Throwing Knife, I guess, there's not really too much that is an artifact that you really want to be killing, but there are definitely flyers that you really want to be killing. I saw 3 green cards and I got excited, but none of these green cards are all that good. I'll take this Elemental Bond. Maybe I should be taking the Mantle of Webs, but I don't want to play either of those cards. Take this card. I think it's definitely playable. It's 6 mana for a 6/4. When you put it on the battlefield, you can start shooting them for 2 damage, and it's really good in the late game against control decks that have the board completely stalled out. So I like it. Basically, so far, need some 2-drops. Oh, Orchard Spirit coming back. I like to see that one. Definitely means that green isn't being drafted too highly at this table, and I think that Orchard Spirit was the next best green card in the pack. So it coming back is definitely solid. 13th pick, Orchard Spirit. But I'm pretty happy overall. I mean, I ended up with 2 Somberwald Alphas, which are close to first pickable in terms of you wanting to have this card actively in your deck and it being one of the best cards in your deck. It's not too far off from that. I think Fiery Impulse is exactly that, and I got that 4th, so that's exciting. I didn't ship too much red. I guess maybe in the first couple of packs I did. I don't really remember, so hopefully I'll get rewarded this pack. But at the same time, I'm base green, and if there's something else that I want to play in another color, I could play it. I don't have to be only green. Or sorry, I don't have to be green-red just because I don't have, just because I have Enthralling Victor and Rambler. Those 2 cards are definitely replaceable, whereas Fiery Impulse is a great card. I did pass the Fiery Conclusion, which is a pretty great red card early on, so there definitely could be somebody who picked up on that and tried to move into red, but that might not have happened either. Well, this is a disappointing pack. More 4-drops, another Might of the Masses. I think I'll take the Fire Fiend Elemental here. Maybe the Might of the Masses is a better pick. Yeah, I'll take Might of the Masses. I just don't think that it's going to be difficult for me to pick up 1 more or 2 more Might of the Masses or Titanic Growths or something like that. But it's also not going to be hard for me to pick up more 4-drops. I think I'll just take Fire Fiend Elemental. They're pretty comparable in power level, I think. There's nothing really exciting in this pack except for the suppression bonds, but I just don't think I'm going to end up in white. Well, that is exciting. This is actually a pretty solid pack overall for me. I would be happy to play Boggart Brute, Conclave Naturalist, even Subterranean Scout I wouldn't mind playing in Titanic Growth, but Exquisite Firecraft is just a really strong card, so I'll take it. Alright, there is, so again there's Titan Strength too, which I didn't even think about earlier. Another 2 Fairy Miscreants this pack, so somebody could be doing it. But anyway, there's Elvish Visionary. I don't have any 2-drops, so I'm probably leaning towards that right now. Rock Maulers, which I obviously really like that card. I've been talking about it for a while. And a Titan Strength, which is a nice little pump spell. But yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and grab the Elvish Visionary here, just as a 2-drop play that can either chump block or trade or something like that. I like the card. So, pretty good start so far to this pack. Another Elvish Visionary or a Subterranean Scout. For me, there's a Topin Freeblade for someone who's going to be really happy, or an Irosis champion. I think I'm going to go with the Elvish Visionary. I don't have too much that screams Subterranean Scout yet. I guess I have one Fire Fiend Elemental. Maybe Subterranean Scout is just a better card overall, and I should be grabbing it. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that this is going to be an amazing card in this deck. It'll be fine. Better with Somberwald Alpha, I suppose, but not much. I'll grab the Subterranean Scout. I think it has more upside in a deck like this. Well, nothing in here for me. Could take Active Treason. I could just hate this Topin Freeblade because somebody getting critical mass of those is really bad for me. I could take a Warhorn, but I don't think I want to be playing that card. Just doesn't do enough when it enters battlefield. If you're not already attacking, then it's really bad for you. And if you're on defense, and it literally does nothing for you. I already have 2 similar effects in Somberwald Alpha that are much better. Yeah, I am honestly just going to take this Topin Freeblade over the Active Treason. Right? Nah, I should probably take Active Treason. I might not even play against the Topin Freeblade deck. Though if I'm planning on making it to the finals, the deck that's picking up all those is probably going to make it. Just because Topin Freeblade is one of the better cards in the set, in my opinion. One of the better commons. It's just so hard to beat that card if you played on turn 2. If you played in the late game, then sure, it's a 2/2 Vigilance. It's always going to be relevant. You can always use it to double block something else, and it leaves the threat that if they do attack you, then it better be for putting you to lethal or close to it. Otherwise, you can really just turn that around and make a bigger Vigilance threat, and it's really hard to answer. Take another Orchard Spirit. Doesn't seem like green-red is that open coming this way. Picking up Orchard Spirit, which I got 13th last pack. I got this Active Treason pack where I didn't want anything in the pack, so I just had to grab that. Even my 2 of my earlier picks, Elvish Visionary and Subterranean Scout, were not extremely thrilling for me. But I do still think green is underdrafted at the table. I think that there might just be a green drafter close to my left, picking out the better green cards so that they don't make it all the way to me. But there was definitely Titanic Growth or the Might of the Masses or something like that that I could table. Still got a couple more packs of fresh cards to see for now. Ugh, gross. Citadel Castellan, great card, but not for my deck. Take an Alchemist's Vial, which I don't mind, or second Aerial Volley. I'll just take the Aerial Volley for my sideboard. And kind of another blank pack. Mantle of Web's not a card I'm willing to play, neither is Magmatic Insight. I'll take this Possessed Scob so nobody else has it. The good thing is I already have 16 playables that I really wouldn't mind putting in my deck, so it's not like I'm going to run out or anything. I'll just take the Enshrouding Mist. Oh, we got a Titanic Growth back. Chandra's Fury I think would actually be pretty good in this deck, but I only have 1 pump spell, so I want to get to at least 2, I think. Especially because something like Somberwald Alpha just really means that my opponent has to trade now, and pump spells with that kind of effect are amazing. Because your opponent is much more willing to make double blocks. And because they kind of have to. They're put in that position where they really need to, and then that's when you can really get them with your pump spells. But yeah, so I already have 17 playables. Maybe Active Treason I would cut, but none of the other ones. Take a Cobble Brute. I don't want to be playing too many 4-drops, but, you know, sometimes that ends up happening. Bellows Lizard, not going to make my deck, but you never know. I don't know. It's better than taking one of the other 2 unplayable cards. I could be in a better position in this draft. But, you know, can't have everything. Can't always work out perfectly, right? Do not think I'm going to play second one of these. It's not like I think that I'm going to be playing Cobble Brute either, but I mean, with 2 Somberwald Alphas, playing Cobble Brute is not unreasonable. I think my next pack's going to be a little bit better. I think green's going to be open, and a lot of good stuff's going to come. Thopter Spy Network. Well, that's disappointing. And a lot of non-green cards. So Thopter Spy Network is just an insane card, and whoever gets that is gonna, if they can take advantage of it the right way, then that's gonna be great for them. But I like Lightning Javelin, so I'm happy to pick up another piece of removal, especially one that can deal 3 damage to a player. So that's nice. Pricklebore or Rock's Maulers again. I'm going to take the Rock's Maulers. Happy to pick up one of those. Of course, there's like better cards, and I guess there's 2 better cards. Or Patron of the Valiant, Reeve Soul, and if you're in blue-white, then Thunderclap Wyvern is pretty good too. But not too unhappy to be picking up a Rock's Maulers here. Wonder if this card's good. I don't think I really want to be playing Gather the Pack or Animist's Awakening. I think both of those cards are pretty bad. I could play Nissa's Pilgrimage, but that doesn't seem amazing in my deck either. I could play a 3rd Yiva's Force Mage, but I think I just want this early guy. I mean, I have 2 Yiva's Force Mages to get it through. I have got already a couple of pump spells and some early removal. I think that this guy will actually be pretty decent in my deck. Even though it seems like a card that you just play it on like turn 3 and then you never get in with it and it's really terrible, but alright. Passing Cruel Revival, but I'll take Llanowar Empath. A little bit awkward. Too many 4-drops in this deck. As I say that, I can pick up another 4-drop. Take Wild Instincts though. I like removal in this situation, even though I really like Farika's Disciple and think it's a great card. But I'm pretty much at my playable count, so I can take out one of these 4-drops. Between Lightning Javelin, and Wild Instincts are also kind of cards that are usually played on curve, so I think something like minus Cobble Brute, minus Enthralling Victor will be good. But we'll see. I might end up bringing the Enthralling Victor back. I still need a couple more playables for this deck, and something like Act of Treason doesn't really want to make my deck. But it's not too bad, especially if I can pick up another early creature. Put pressure on early, keep it on, and then use Act of Treason to finish the game. But a lot of the times you're just sitting with this card in hand and it's not doing anything for you and you're not winning. Only have 3 more new packs though. I don't think that there's too much tabling either. When you don't have any difficult picks and it's just kind of, you're thinking, alright, well, I'll obviously take the best card for me, I'll obviously take the best card for me. Once that happens 3 or 4 times, you start to realize that your deck is, nothing is really going to come back. So I think Hitchcall Recluse is probably the pick, even though it's not going to be good for me. I like Llanowar Empath as a card, but again, I already have all these 4s. Yeah, maybe I'll still take it, just because Hitchclaw Recluse really doesn't do anything for my deck. I don't need a 3rd Volcanic Rambler. Take another Wild Instincts. It's not a bad pickup. It's a little bit better than Evolving Wilds here, I think. Just because it's a high power level card, and I think that's kind of what my deck was lacking. I guess it's really lacking early game plays, but I don't want to play this Act of Treason. It's definitely not lacking 4-drops. That I can tell you for sure. Alright, what else can we get here to make this deck better? Got one more pack here of new cards. I just need a 2-drop. I just need one more 2-drop. I do not need another 4-drop. That I am good on. I think I'll probably take Sigil of Valor here. I don't know. It's probably not going to make my deck, but it seems reasonable. Man, that really kind of frustrates me. I didn't even see like a Rune Servitor that I could take early on. I wonder if I was not supposed to be in this deck. My first packs told me that I should be green, and I think that green was a good spot for me. I got those late Wild Instincts, and even Llanowar Empath I think is a good card to get pretty late. Maybe red wasn't where I was supposed to be, but even that, I feel like getting that 4th pick Fiery Impulse, how could I not be in red? I don't know. I have 2 Possessed Scabs in my deck. Hope that there's a blue-black drafter sitting there. It's like, man, I really hope I can just table this Possessed Scab, because then my deck's going to be amazing. Ended up with only 2 pump spells. I could have gone for 3. Would have been happy with that. Okay, I'll take a 3rd. So, what should I cut? Oh, actually, I don't need to cut anything because I only have 23. This might be an 18 land deck, to be honest, though. Probably is. Got a lot of expensive spells. Yeah, I don't like any of these cards, but whatever. Okay, so we got our deck. Maybe need to make 1 cut. Maybe not. Yeah, I have a lot of 4-drops. I want to make 1 cut and put in another land, especially considering one of my lands is already sort of a spell that also wants to have a lot of mana. So, since I only have 15 creatures, I think I wanted to be cutting a spell. And if I'm cutting a spell, it's probably just going to be one of these Might of the Masses or Titanic Growth. Let's make it a Might of the Masses. No, Titanic Growth. I think Might of the Masses is generally better than Titanic Growth, but in this deck, not really so much. There's also a Sigil of Valor that I could play, but I don't think that's necessary. Alright, let's cut a Might of the Masses and go with one of each. I'm not sure which is actually better. And is 6 mountains enough? Probably not. And, I mean, I have way more green cards, but I do have some early red cards and a double red. So, I think 7 and 10 is probably the right split. It's kind of annoying. I wish I had taken the Elvish Visionary over the Scout so that I would have another one. I would cut the Glory Chaser and play like another 4-drop or something like that, but still have this Exquisite Firecraft, which is awkward, but yeah, definitely an awkward deck, but I have a lot of green cards, so it's not, even if I don't draw enough for my red cards, it's only 6-7 cards in my deck, so if I don't draw them out, I'll be so okay. Alright, cool. I'm going to submit this, and I'll see you guys in the first round. Bye. Alright guys, back here for some more magics, and deck's not great, it's not pathetic or anything, but could be a lot better, so we're gonna have to try and play as hard as we can, think everything through, make sure we're not making any obvious mistakes, that kind of thing, and win some games of Magic that we might not be favorited in. Well, this hand is quite mediocre. Can't do anything until turn 4. The useless pump spell, and I don't have any creatures. So I'm obviously going to keep it. I've got 4 lands. I don't know how aggressive my opponent's going to be. My deck's not amazing that I can really afford to be holding on to or throwing back this kind of hand. Oh, another red-green player. And he's got all the Leaf Gilders, apparently. Another 4-drop. Yiva's Force Mage is a lot worse when you don't have a lot of early creatures to play. Because usually you want to play it on turn 3, get an advantage out of it, and then move on with your life. But hopefully my opponent doesn't have a turn 3 play, because it'll be kind of hard to come back if my opponent's put 3 permanents on the board before I have any. Alright, Elvish Visionary I can deal with. It's not like it's putting that much pressure on the board. Alright, and we have, again, to just pass the turn. So yeah, here's to hoping that for somehow my opponent doesn't actually have a play. Even though he's got 5 mana. Oh, wow. It actually came true. I don't know how much of a fan I am of this card, but we'll get to see it in action here, and my opponent being able to play it on turn 4 sounds really good for him, but Fire Fiend Elemental's coming in. And to be honest, I've got a cheap pump spell. I've got another 4-drop, so if I want to play my cheap pump spell next turn, kill something, and then, or if I want to play Lightning Javelin, then I can still use Might of the Masses to give this guy +1/+1. It's not great, but I bet this guy's playing the Animus Awakening too. Like if my opponent taps out and then tries to double block here or something. There we go, Animus Awakening. And he's got 3 lands. Oh god. Brutal. Alright, well, not attacking anytime soon. But I'm glad that I got the hit in with my creature for now. But I have this Rock Maulers, and then I'll be able to play Rambler, so I've got the board pretty well stalled out. Being able to have Orchard Spirit, Volcanic Rambler, that kind of thing going on means that I can really I can start pushing in some damage over his board stall. But yeah, he's got this Zendikar's Royal and this Animus Awakening, so he's always going to be drawing live cards for the rest of the game. When the game goes into a board stall like this, that's one of the things that's really great about this card, because these 2/2s are great at gumming up the ground, and then this card is great when the board's gummed up and there's nothing to do. So it's a nice little combination attack that they've got going on there. I could try and get in damage with my Rock Maulers. Pricklebore. Hitchclaw Recluse. Alright. So I think I need to take down the Pricklebore here. First thing. Alright. Scry away a land, hopefully. Ooh. Take that. I don't think I can really afford to get in here, because even if I can use Might of the Masses to get my Rock Maulers through, like he's probably just going to like quad block or something like that, which would be very bad for me. So yeah, I think I need to just hold back both my guys on D here, which is unfortunate, but yeah, not too bad. I think that I can still win this game. Even though my opponent came out much quicker out of the gate, played kind of a crazy little combo. That's not much here. But all I really have to do is just survive long enough. What the hell is this? Is it Might of the Masses? Okay. He's just charging in. It's probably makes sense. He probably has enough creatures that, yeah, he's gonna kill me like next turn. If he's got a Might of the Masses here, then like he can just kill me straight out. He's got 8, 9, 10 damage coming through, and it'll be, oh yeah, obvious. All right. Well, I think that I was actually in a reasonable spot to win that game. But, oh well. Let's see. What is there that we want to bring in here? I don't really see much. I feel like Elemental Bond. Try and gain some advantage of our own. Problem is that a lot of our cards don't actually trigger it, so I don't think I can do that. Alright, let's just submit, and hopefully it'll go better than that one. It was kind of absurd, that game. having the Animist Awakening, and even so, he only played Animist Awakening for 5. He could have easily gotten one land there, and one creature, without it being unreasonable. And he was favored to hit 2, but he ended up getting a little bit lucky and hitting 3. So I don't know. I could definitely have seen that game going another way, and if he didn't, then I don't know. He probably still would have won. But if I had been able to push that game into a board stall, I would have had a better chance. So, not a great hand here. Again, 5 lands, a 6-drop, a 4-drop that I can't cast. This one's probably a mulligan. Yep, that's what you worry about with the mulligans. End up with, to be honest, not much of a worse hand. If I draw a couple of lands and I can get some maulers online. The problem is that this card is so much better when you're already being aggressive. So it's a little bit brutal to just be holding on to. And then have my opponent play like a 2-drop into another 3-drop or oh, he didn't play a 2-drop. That's good. And I got myself a nice little 2-drop here. It's not too bad to get this guy a little bit later. Just because hopefully he'll be able to trade for some creature at some point. And I just need one more land. Ooh. I don't think that there are any flash creatures in the set, so don't really gain too much by playing it pre-combat. And if he goes to use Fiery Impulse or something like that, then I'd much rather him kill my Subterranean Scout than my Somberwald Alpha. But yeah, if I draw land here, then this is exactly the board state that I want to be in. I want to be attacking him when he doesn't have much out yet. And I even have Somberwald Alpha, which is a great combo with Rock Maulers. So I could see this being a good situation for me. But I really need to draw the land this turn. Though, to be honest, there's like, what, 1 card in my deck that I can't cast, or 2 cards in my deck, being the 6-drop and the Exquisite Firecraft that I can't cast, because I already have both my 5-drops in hand. So there's not much here that I could draw next turn that would not be really good for me. Got 2 Wild Instincts, which will probably be amazing draws. See, this is the kind of game where Zendikar's Royal is going to be just horrible for him. Because if he plays it on turn 5, then it's not going to do anything, and even the next turn it won't do anything. Alright, so he's going to play that thing, attack me. I could just trade and try and play Rock Maulers. That makes it a lot worse for me. I think I'm okay racing here. Even though he gets a 4-3 out of it and he can just trade next turn, I get 3 damage in anyway. Man, I drew the 6-drop! Ugh. So brutal. Alright, well, that makes trading... Actually, I mean, yeah, because if I had been able to play Rock Mauler here, he would not have been able to trade the Fire Fiend Elemental for the Rock Mauler, because I have the Alpha. But, man, I just needed to dodge like one of 2 cards. It would have been great for me. I guess, to be honest, the pump spells would not have been good here either. So there were a fair bit of cards that are not good draws. Royal? Bricklebore. Uh-oh. Okay. That is not a bad draw. Definitely just have to attack with everything. He probably just trades here, but with Somberwald Alpha, but then my Fire Fiend Elemental gets through, so not too bad. Ooh, that works for me. Okay. Definitely said in the draft that this guy could get this guy through, which is not true. Alright, and hopefully he just has to pump the brakes here, and I can draw my land, or a useful spell like Wild Instincts or Lightning Javelin. Something like that. Maybe I should have just traded early, I don't know. Then I wouldn't have been able to get past the Bricklebore, even with Rock Maulers online. Guardian Automaton. Well, that's not great for me. In a racing situation, this card, not wonderful. But I can't imagine him not attacking here and putting on the pressure, because now I can't win the race. So, because if I trade there, then I only get in 2 damage this turn. He even gains 1 life. He goes up to 9, and then we're both at 9. That's not good for me. But yeah, my opponent's only got 4 cards in hand. I've got 3 cards in hand. I'm really not even that far behind on card advantage. Only a little bit behind on tempo here. Well, I guess I played this thing. Pump this guy. I mean, I could pump this guy. 6 power. No, I think I just pumped this guy and attack. Because I need this one back to block his Fire Fiend Elemental instead of getting 2 for 1. Because I don't think that I can trade that kind of tempo loss at this point. But now he could just block here, and then we have a completely stalled out board where we basically have 2 2s and 4 3s facing off. And of course, it is his turn, which means that he could have some combat tricks and stuff. But again, all I really need to do is just draw 1 or 2 lands, and I am extremely advantaged in this game. Especially because he has all these lands in hand. He's got 3 lands in hand. There's nothing even left for him to do. But I think that my decision early on to not trade for this was good, even though I have taken 11 damage off of it, just because I would not have been able to kill the Pricklebore, and this card would definitely have killed me this game. Because by being aggressive, my opponent was forced to trade, and then I was able to kind of come back a little bit. Alright, so he's just attacking with that, which leads me to believe he's probably got a pump spell, so he doesn't want to trade both of his creatures, but I definitely have to block here. But, I mean, I'm okay if the Rock Smaulers gets to trade for this next turn. I guess I could have double blocked. Would have been reasonable. Naturalists. That's not good. Alright. Well. Disappointing game. First of all, if I had drawn any of these 3 drops instead of this Rambler, it would have been great for me, but was not meant to be. Could do something else, like single block this and take the damage. I don't think that's better, though. I mean, I just have to hope that my opponent bricks. Well, that does not count as a brick. And I think I'm drawing dead here at this point. Land, obviously. It's always the land. Ugh, brutal game. I think that that I definitely could have won that one had it gone a little bit better for the draws. I mean, that was a mold of 5, and all I needed to do was just draw 1 land for 2 or 3 turns. If I had been able to do it when I still had the Somberwald Alpha and gotten the Rock Smaulers online instead of just passing the turn and doing nothing that turn, then I think I definitely would have won. If I had drawn the land on any subsequent turns, then I could have had a second Rock Smaulers, and that would have been pretty sweet for me too. But as it turns out, did not manage to win that game. Hey guys, back here for some more Magic. Don't love this hand either, but I mean, when you're playing a deck with a whole bunch of 4-drops, not too many 1 and 2s, then, or even 3s, then it's not too surprising that you get these kind of hands. But I do have my Exquisite Firecraft, which is going to be super awkward and tough to cast. Drawing a land there is nice because I do need to hit 4 and 5 for my renowned creatures, but alright. I can take drawing a Force Mage as a 3-mana 2/2 here. It's not the end of the world for me here. My opponent's stuck on land. So, definitely looking good here for me so far. Considering I don't have an absurd amount of lands, but it's not like I've got nothing either. And and I have some action on turn 4. So yeah, it's good because basically my opponent's not going to get an advantage by having more cards than me. But we'll see what he's got here. Read the bones. Whew, that's bad. I was thinking, like, basically played any creature, then I couldn't really get too much value off the elemental, so maybe I'd just play the Empath first, but, yeah, drew the Mountain. Perfect draw in my deck. So as much as everything went horribly wrong for me last match, or at least in game 2, rather, everything is going extremely well for me in this match. Can't really, hope for much more. I mean, okay, Return Centaur is not even that good. But I was going to say, even if he had a creature to trade with my Firefiend Elemental, I don't care that much. I can just keep pushing through damage with Yiva's Force Mage while playing Rock Maulers. There's just very little that my opponent can do. I mean, he can play like land and removal spell, 5-drop removal spell, or suppression bonds or something like that, and that's not horrible, but even so, he still then has to take another 4 from the Firefiend Elemental, and I get to play another Rock Mauler, so then once he gets below 4, I could just kill him with Exquisite Firecraft, so good stuff. This was a pretty high upside hand if my opponent wasn't able to do anything. My opponent wasn't really able to do anything, and the upside was realized. And now I just drew Titanic Growth, which is completely insane. Definitely attacking with everything here, because if he wants to eat this and like chump something, then yeah, I figured he would have to double block there, and then I just get to kill him. I think I'd rather kill him with Titanic Growth, or probably not with Titanic Growth. I'd probably rather just kill him with Firecraft, right? Because I mean, he won't. It's not like you can. It's a lot easier to play around a pump spell than a removal spell. Like a removal spell, you just kind of say, okay, my opponent's going to kill something with it, but a pump spell, you might not double block as much. So I'd rather him know that I'm playing Exquisite Firecraft than him know that I'm playing Titanic Growth. If that makes any sense. I don't know why he's thinking about this one for so much. It's just like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm dying here. That's what's happening right now. Alright. Aerial Volley? It's kind of hard to bring that in off just seeing one white creature. If you were playing blue, I'd be a lot more inclined because blue has stuff, or even if you were playing red because red has Thopters. But it's hard to do it off just that, so I don't know if I'm going to really bring that in yet. Throwing Victor. I can play Bellows Lizard. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm just gonna submit and see how this goes. Hand's not great. I need to draw 2 lands before I can do anything. My opponent's on the play. He kept 7 really quickly. He doesn't seem to be an aggressive deck, though, which is something. So cards might be more important than actually aggressive stuff, but I'm going to mulligan this. I think I can do better. Well, this is not better, but I don't think I'm willing to throw that one back as well. I have 10 forests in my deck, so by the time I draw 2 lands, the chances that neither of them are forests are pretty low. So if I'm putting myself in the position where I need to draw 2 lands, I don't mind it that neither of them are green. Look, I could get really unlucky, but it's more likely that I got unlucky and I don't draw any lands than I get unlucky and I draw mountains. At least you didn't have Consul's Lieutenant or something like that. Alright, give me the forest right now. Pulls. I'll take forest, please. Thank you. No. Not a forest. Not even a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I definitely need to draw running lands in order to stay in this game. And then one of them needs to be a forest. And even then, I'm still not in good shape. Priest of the Bloodright, Unholy Hunger, Anointer of Champions. Those are some good cards to be milling over. But either way, the thing is that none of my creatures are really doing a good job of blocking that like return Centaur, or even attacking through it, to be honest. But I'll trade off with the Eyeblight Assassin here. Save some life, because as long as I, oh god, don't have to beat a Patron of the Bounty, then I'll be okay. Alright, so here, what do we want to do? What's the plan? Take 6. Lose our Orchard Spirit. Well, I guess block this with the Orchard Spirit and Titanic Growth. God. No chance. Not even close. Suppression Bonds. Vryn Wingmare. Alright. I guess I just play like Llanowar Empath. And double block a return Centaur here. Do I want the 5th land? I think we're past that point, and I kind of need to draw. I don't even know what I can draw. Mountain. Well, that's not gonna cut it. So yeah, I might just have to Wild Instincts 2 for 1 myself next turn. And then go down to 2. If he's got anything here. And this is just stabbing that guy, by the way. Because our Wild Instincts took over and she murdered the dude. This also looks like the same kind of forest. I wonder if it is. Maybe not. Could definitely be a different forest. That tree looks extremely different than the trees in this one. Alright, buddy. What you got? Reavesol. I mean, like, I understand why you want to make sure that everything is going to go well, so I can't really blame my opponent there, but I definitely can't win. Maybe he'll show me another card. My opponent's deck looks really good, by the way. I'm going to have a lot of trouble beating it. Alright. I knew that I was drawing Mountain. I don't know why I waited that long to concede. Okay, so we saw another flyer, but not one that we can kill. Enthralling Victor might just be better than Llanowar Empath in this matchup, because my opponent's playing those 2/4s, so I can take his big blocker away, and it'll actually be really valuable for me. And I think I want to play Might of the Masses instead of like, maybe another Llanowar Empath, which is a little bit awkward, but I mean, I'm just hoping that that's like a +2/+2. It's not like I want it to be a +7/+7 like the other guy had in the first round. Well, this is a great hand. I have a 2-drop. I love that. That's the centerpiece of my deck. It's just like, oh my god, I can draw. I can play an Elvish Visionary on turn 2. It is the best possible thing I can do. Obviously, I would rather have a Goblin Glory Chaser on turn 1, especially with Titanic Growth to back it up, but I'll take an Elvish Visionary, okay? Well, it looks like we might be able to push this one into a game 3. Just based on the fact that I have this opening hand, right? It seems reasonable enough. I think that if my deck's doing what it wants to do, then it's kind of tough to beat. I mean, just curving out and beating down. But the problem is that the curve is so bad that it's really, really tough to get ahead when you don't have many 2-drops and 3-drops. Okay, that's fine with me. It's not great, but I suspect that I'll be the aggressor in this matchup, so this card ends up being a 1/1 for 1 when you're not attacking. Even though I do think this card's really good. Drawing the land kind of relieves some of my fears. Firecraft is not a great draw. It could be turn 10 before I can get to play something like that. Yeah, I mean, I'll just pass and Titanic Growth. If he's got a removal spell and he uses it on Visionary, then that's fine with me. But this way I get to use my mana, and I think that that's really the most important thing. I don't even know what he could have here. You have like an Enshrouding Mist, which would be also fine for me. I do have the 5th land in Foundry of the Councils for Rock Maulers next turn, which is awesome. My opponent's stuck on 3 lands, charging in with Visionary. There's some consideration to just attacking with, yeah, because just attacking with Visionary and see if we can get the trade done, but I don't know. My opponent's playing Deadridge Shaman, possibly, but he's not going to lose it next turn, so I'd rather save the Foundry of the Councils until I can crack it, basically, is my thought process here. And I kind of want the second red source anyway, but yeah, I can pretty easily attack with both. I'm happy to trade off my alpha for both of his guys. And if not, then I just get to play Rock Maulers, and he can't even get in with the Free Blade. And if he does, then I can just take the damage. If he attacks with it, I can just take the damage and Firecraft it. So, really, in a no-lose situation here. So he has 4th land drop. Let's see what he's got here. Return Centaur? Sure. I still don't know what he's going to do about Rock Maulers, but so if I attack with Somberwald Alpha and I don't do anything, then he can just double block it with these two, and my guy would become a 5/4, and I would only be able to trade for one of them. So that's not great for me, and I wouldn't be able to attack with Visionary. So I think here I'm just going to Firecraft this thing and get in with the team. I definitely should have played the Foundry, though. Well, not definitely, but I could have played the Foundry. Because now my Rock Maulers gets big, he needs to draw land and have the 5-mana removal spell. He can't even really deal with this guy unless he loses both of his creatures, and if he does that, then I'm not too upset because I still have Orchard Spirit and Foundry leftovers, as well as the Visionary. And either way, he's taking a big hit here. He's taking 5 damage. I think he kind of has to double block the alpha, but it really depends on the contents of his hand or his deck. I mean, I know... Oh, actually, he does have 1 suppression bonds in his graveyard, so he might not have any suppression bonds left in his deck. Alright. I don't like my chances for game 3. My opponent's deck looks really good. Doesn't matter. I'd rather play out Orchard Spirit than deal the 1 extra damage by giving my guy Trample. Get Renown activated. And now I can play Orchard Spirit. I mean, my opponent's not dead this turn, so it's sort of a thing. That's quite the draw, right? So if I just play that, then I can kill this thing, attack with everything. He takes 8, 10, or he takes 6, 8, 9. Yeah. Okay. That was a weird block. Alright, so I don't remember winning a game. I guess I won game 1. Huh. Oh well. Alright. See you guys in the next round. Bye. Hey guys, it's time for round 3. Hopefully we get a super lucky draw. Well, we'll get it the next time. This is a mediocre hand, but that's what we got here. That's what we got with this deck. I will keep. At least I have my red that I could use for my Exquisite Firecraft. Wouldn't mind drawing Fiery Impulse. It's a pretty strong card. Alright. Another green drafter. I really thought green was pretty open at this table, so it's a little surprising to me that there are so many green drafters. It's the second other player that I've seen in green. Alpha's not a bad draw. It's not a good draw, but not sure what I'd do this turn. Well, definitely not gonna play the Fire Fiend Elemental into that. I think I'll play the Somberwald Alpha, so that next turn I can threaten to do something like Fire Fiend Elemental past the Bonded Construct, and even Somberwald Alpha can get past it. I'd rather just play a Rock Maulers though, because he could double block, but that's not a huge concern. I don't know. This game's going decently for me. Opponent's got that Scryfish out there, but it's not a huge deal. I mean, I feel uncomfortable with the fact that my opponent's going to get much better card selection. Ooh, that's awesome. So if I draw a land here, that's great, because now I can threaten to trample my guy. So even if he chumps with the Scryfish, then he is in trouble, because my guy's still going to get in for damage and going to Renown. So just being able to play the land pre-combat is really good there. Yeah, so my opponent was definitely punished for attacking there for 4 damage when it's pretty clear that I'm the aggressor. I guess if he's got a Rock Maulers, then it's not quite as clear. Could have attacked with both of those if he wanted to. Alright, that's a good draw. Well, let's just put this one on the bottom. It's a little bit awkward that he gets to know about that, but more than okay with it. I wish I had one more land, though. Maybe I shouldn't have. I don't know. Being able to play Might of the Masses is good enough. I don't really need to give my guys trample. Alright. Take +4, +4. So yeah, if I had one more land here, then I could actually just trample over for 4 damage, which would be really nice. But I've got myself quite the board here. I have Exquisite Firecraft coming up next turn, which I can't actually play Firecraft and Empath in the same turn. So we'll see what we want to do. But even so, I have the Alpha out. I have a whole bunch of creatures, so that's not really going to hurt. Yeah, I think I'm just going to kill that. And attack with the team. There is some consideration for not sending the Alpha. I guess there's really no need. So advantageous for me to not do that. I mean, he's got a double block to kill anything. I'm gonna kill both of those. And I can still trample over for 3. So, I'm not sure. It might have been the correct play to just attack with everything. Might not have even been correct to kill the flyer. Alright, well, he's not going away here. He keeps playing these cards. I think I want to play this thing first so that I can... I should have played the land. Doesn't matter. I just want to see what's coming next turn. Alright, so let's put this on top and this on topper. Get to draw that. Okay. Now my opponent still actually can't kill my Alpha. So that's good. Huh. Okay. I think I want to kill the fish. I guess he's probably got a pump spell? No. He just... Yeah, I mean, if you're going to chump block, it makes sense to do that. Should probably play my land first. But I have a hard time believing that my opponent will be able to survive against this board. Sure, you got yourself a Nissa's Revelation. It's not going to cut it. Especially considering I have Wild Instincts on top of my deck. Well, it was a smart time to concede. There's no reason for him to reveal a card. Alright, so my opponent is playing green-blue, sort of aggressive-y deck. If there is a time to bring in the aerial volley, now it's... What? If there is a time to bring in the aerial volley, it is now. Cut the Rambler at the top. Maybe one of these combat tricks. I don't know, combat tricks seemed really good. I don't want to cut another creature. Alright, let's cut a combat trick. Maybe I shouldn't have brought in both of the aerial volleys. I just think that my opponent's going to have a lot of targets for him. We saw the Ringworn Owl and the Aspiring Aeronaut already. And just blue is really just filled with flyers in this format, so I'm okay bringing that in. Alright, this hand's fine. It's not particularly good because Yuva's Force Mage is basically just a Grey Ogre. Which, I mean, that's kind of what it is in my deck, just 3 mana 2/2, nothing else doing. That's a good draw. If I'm going to draw a land, I want it to be another red source so I can cast Firecraft. I think I want to... It's like a really small advantage, but I think I want to hold on to the mountain as long as possible, so that my opponent... Because my opponent already saw this card, so he won't play around it until he actually thinks that I can cast it. So it's really minor, but I think it is. And he's also playing Scrapskin Drake, so that's another target for my aerial volleys. Probably 1 is the right number. So he's got a Yiva's Force Mage of his own to push through some damage there. And we're Empath. So probably just going to be trading for the next couple of turns. So I want to be left with Orchard Spirit at the end of all of this. Well, there's a Thopter Spy Network. No artifacts as of yet, but that's pretty dangerous. Quite scary. Wasn't there a non-foil Thopter Spy Network going around? That's really just terrifying. Because there's no way I'm beating this card if he gets an artifact in play. So I'm definitely going to save my removal for that. If he plays an artifact creature. If he just plays like a equipment or something like that, I have no chance. Alright, you got yourself an owl. It's a lot of damage that I'll be taking if I don't trade here. But I need to turn the corner at some point. I have removal, so... well... no. I have removal, so I don't really need to trade here. Man, I think I'm actually just supposed to Wild Instincts and kill the owl right here. Instead of playing the alpha out. Because I think that my best chance to win this game is to hope that he doesn't have any artifacts. So I shouldn't try and save my removal for that. And being able to push through 4 damage and kill a flyer, I think is more important than holding on to my removal for a theoretical artifact. Alright, so again he gets to push through some more damage on the ground. But that's okay. Because I can still... the reason why I'm making this play as opposed to the Somberwald Alpha play, which also would allow my Empath to attack in, is because I want to play 2 spells this turn. And now next turn... oh, I'm so stupid. The Thopter gives him a freaking artifact. How am I that bad? Wow. That was really stupid. And then now it's too late, because now I can't kill it. But I probably should have just Firecrafted the Thopter. Well, looks like it wouldn't have mattered. He's got Thopters for days now. Okay. That is actually an exciting draw. Can I survive the crackback here? He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's only got 9 power, so yeah, I can survive the crackback. Whatever he blocks, I can trample it if I want to. Ooh. Okay. This is quite interesting. Because now I have the ability to kill all of his artifacts. And be left with a Yiva's Force Mage. Yeah, I like this. A Yiva's Force Mage and a Somberwald Alpha versus 2 1/2 flyers and another Somberwald Alpha in hand. Oh god. So he's got me dead if he has any creature or any spell. He's obviously just going to take it here, and I just have to hope he breaks on a spell for one turn. I guess there's no point in playing the land out. It was probably bad. Well, what you got, buddy? Nothing. He's got nothing. It's like a send to sleep. Still could be a problem here. So he's got 5, 7. I think that the Somberwald Alphas are too much though. That was a great draw. I think he made a huge mistake trying to trade all of his Thopters off. Oh my god. All of the alpha. Okay, so let's just... Okay. Use this one to give this guy trample, because if I screw this up then I actually lose. Use this one to give this guy trample. Can they give themselves trample? Oh, they can give themselves trample. Whatever. Okay, won the match. This card is so scary, but it's definitely one of those situations where if you can't get the artifacts for it, then it literally will do nothing for you. But managed to pull off a 2-1 here, and I think that that's pretty awesome. I don't know. Got unlucky in the first rounds, got luckier in the next round, so I'm happy enough with my performance. I don't think that my deck was good, so I don't think that I should have gone 3-0, and looks like I ended up losing to the guy who did go 3-0, so I really don't feel bad about losing this match at all. Did I play poorly? I can't remember if I played poorly. Might have. I don't know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this this video and this draft, and have a wonderful day. Bye.